We have before us our last best chance to restore harmony with nature. As United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, I pledge to work within the UN system and with all other actors to advance a rights-based approach, to help ensure that human rights underpin the post-2020 global biodiversity framework. The people deserve it, and the planet requires it.
People and planet can thrive, but only if we align environmental interests with economic and social development interests. Our window to effect the change needed is closing rapidly, and the threat of inaction is severe. It cannot be achieved with incrementalism. It cannot be achieved with logic and evidence in isolation. We will only make the breakthroughs needed with shared values and common priorities. At the United Nations Development Programme, we are forging new narratives, partnerships and solutions to trigger the systems change we need to protect and restore our natural world. We are preparing to support over 130 countries to put the new global biodiversity framework into action. That includes making the 30 by 30 targets possible, envisageable, with the ambition of conserving 30% of all terrestrial and marine habitats.
If we have learned anything, I repeat, it is that there is no development, but sustainable development. Trade must be part of this common approach. So by this message, UNCTAD pledges its commitment to participate with all member states joining forces in curbing biodiversity loss. This has concerned all of us. We must stop the biodiversity crisis. This is an emergency. I thank you.
Biodiversity is essential to agri-food systems transformation, and biodiversity loss is jeopardizing commitment to end the world hunger. FAO is working across the agricultural sectors for better production, better nutrition, a better environment, a better life for all, leaving no one behind.
IFAD is committed to supporting the common approach to biodiversity. Biodiversity is central to our work in transforming food systems and rural economies, and to our work with small-scale producers, business owners, indigenous people, women, and youth. We will continue to strengthen our collaboration and engagement with the UN system to support the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework implementation. No single agency can tackle the causes and impact of biodiversity loss alone. We have to act together.
I'm honored to join this dialogue on behalf of the UN Department of Economic and Social Affairs. Biodiversity is the foundation of life and crucial for realizing the 2030 Agenda. At UN DESA, we support global action to protect our planet and all ecosystems, from forests to oceans. We work to tackle poverty and inequality through integrated social policy frameworks. We value biodiversity by promoting systems of environmental economic accounting, and we mobilize access to sustainable financing through technical cooperation and capacity development. The post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework will help us restore our relationship with nature, and UN DESA stands ready to lend our support.
The International Maritime Organization is the UN specialized agency responsible for the safety, security of shipping, the prevention of marine and atmospheric pollution, transfer of invasive species by ships, and dumping of waste at the sea. The continued implementation of IMO's well-established global regulatory framework on marine environment protection supports our common efforts to address some of the challenges the planet is facing, including climate change, and to halt and reverse biodiversity loss. On behalf of IMO, I'd like to express our support for the adoption and implementation of a transformative post-2020 global biodiversity framework at this COP.
There is no sector like tourism for nature. Tourism brings value and plays the key role in protecting culture, biodiversity, ecosystems, and livelihoods to millions of people. We pledge to take action, individually and collectively, for the tourism sector to contribute to that and reserve biodiversity loss and achieve a nature-positive world by 2030. UNWTO commits to mainstreaming biodiversity conservation into sustainable tourism development, to continue accelerating sustainable consumption and production partners, to promote strong commitments for nature, and to take stock of the progress we make in carrying out these actions.
Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, hello. I'm afraid I could not join you in person as the Secretary General of the Convention on Wetlands, but I'm with you all in spirit. As you meet in Montreal for this very important COP15, it's important to note that we all have to work together for this very important matter and topic on biological diversity. As you discuss the very pertinent issue of the post-2020 global biodiversity framework and the respective targets, it's important to note that we have no time left. We need to act now. We need to collaborate differently. We need to collaborate strongly for not just the planetary crises that we're facing, but more importantly, even for our own survival. Here at the Convention on Wetlands, we recently had our COP14 in Geneva and in Wuhan. And a lot was discussed, and some of the outcomes of our resolutions really talk to synergies. We have to collaborate for the best interest of biological diversity.
From the United Nations University. As the academic arm of the United Nations, and in the spirit of empowering a new generation of advocates for biodiversity, the United Nations University affirms its strong commitment to the UN Common Approach to Biodiversity, to which our institutes were proud to contribute, and the implementation of which we wholeheartedly support.
UNOPS is committed to supporting collective action to address biodiversity loss and be biodiversity positive. Yet today, we are rarely called on to support biodiversity initiatives. However, we recognize the criticality of this issue, and whether it is helping restoring ecosystems, increasing energy efficiency, or planning sustainable waste management, we are ready to work with our partners to tackle the biodiversity crisis for this generations and those to come.